Welcome to the weird part of YouTube, aka my channel.
What is up, you guys, and welcome to my channel, the still weird part of YouTube. So today in my video, I'm gonna be talking about my recent travel to Europe, and previously I've been to New York and plenty of cities. So my coworker keeps asking me how I do traveling so fast, so quickly, and I get to see so many places in such a short time. For example, I went to New York for just 2 days and I got to see the whole city. I went to Europe for 9 days and I got to travel to 3 countries and close to 9 cities, probably 10 in 9 days, which is a huge thing. I was on the train for a very long time, but regardless, I got to maximize my experience to the fullest. So my coworker kept asking me like how I got to do all this at quick pace. Is do you do something? Do you go on tours? Do you spend a lot of money and all that stuff? To which the answer is no, no, no. I did my Europe trip for less than $1,000, which is a pretty big deal. And I did my New York trip as well for less than $1,000, which is also a big deal because I live in California and the traveling can be very expensive coast to coast. So given that all the details, yes. So yeah, so that's how I got to travel to all these places. So my tip starts with, I actually have 10 tips. So the first tip is research, research, research. The second tip is knowing what your limitations are. I'm gonna dwell into all the tips deeper throughout the video, or I'm gonna have a second video explaining stuff more. The third one is have a great data plan. Fourth one is how to use paper maps or maps in general through your phone, or reading a map and stuff like that. A lot of people do not know how to use a map, which is pretty surprising considering how technology has developed for us to use it and all that stuff. So knowing how to read a paper map or map is very important, so that you're not lost in the middle of a huge city that you have never been to. Five, know the local language you're traveling to, know the local language in the city you're traveling to. For example, Paris, they speak French. Zurich, which is in Switzerland, they speak German. Belgium, where it's further north, they speak a bit of Dutch because it's closer to Amsterdam, and they speak French as well. So knowing a few pleasantries would really help you break the barrier and people would be able to help you better. The sixth tip, sorry, I lost count, is don't be afraid. This is solely for people who are traveling by themselves or with someone you trust. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask questions, or if you're lost or something, just don't be afraid because there's always a way out. The seventh tip is wear really comfortable shoes. The mistake I do most often is I don't wear comfortable shoes because I don't like a certain shoe that looks weird in the pictures or something like that. But off late, I've been traveling with really comfortable shoes so that I'm comfortable in the pictures. I can walk a lot. I do walk a lot when I travel and stuff like that. The eighth one is use public transportation as often and as much as you can. Every city, this solely applies for metropolitan cities, but just use public transport. They're a lot cheaper than Uber or taxi or other forms of traveling, apart from the public ones. So use that. The seven, which number am I? Okay, the eighth one is book a hostel. Again, this is for people who are traveling solo and not with someone. So if the hotel option is cheaper, use a hotel instead of a hostel. I did hostel all throughout the Europe trip, and a hotel when I was in New York, because the hotel was cheaper than the hostel option or my Airbnb option. And the 10th one is know the exchange rate. Again, if you're not traveling within the US or another different country, know what the exchange rates are, know how much things are going to cost you, what your credit card or your debit card cost. Sometimes it's not the same rate and they do charge a lot. So know that you are gonna be dealing with all those fees and exchanges beforehand and stuff like that. So let's delve into these tips deeper. So my first one was research, research, research. This seems like a no-brainer because obviously if you're going to a new place, you would research what's there in the place, what's good, and what's trending and all that stuff. So yeah, so before you even book your trip through your airline or your frequent flyer miles or whatever you plan to use for the trip, do research which dates are the cheaper days to fly. Usually it's the weekend. It's the weekday, Monday, Sunday, or if you're flying on Thursday. So those are the cheapest days to fly generally, except Saturday, even Fridays are expensive. So know that those are the options. There are plenty of channels that advise you when to travel and when not to. The second one again is when you're booking your hotel or hostel, know what are the things that are near the hostel. Like what are the things that you would like to see the moment you check in. Usually when you check in, they'll be like, oh, it's gonna take 2 hours or 1 hour, or you can't check into your room till it's like 5 in the evening or something like that. So when they do say that, are you gonna just sit there? No. So you're gonna probably sightsee. So just research what are the options or what are the stuff you can see near your hotel or hostel. For example, when I went to Paris, I stayed pretty far from the city center. The city center being the Louvre Museum, Notre Dame, and all those amazing places. I stayed a little north near the Sacré-Cœur church or basilica. So immediately when I got into my hotel, I knew where the basilica was, and I went in. I took a couple of pictures, and I was just roaming there. And again, this also ties with knowing how well you can read a map. I would like to say I'm pretty good at reading maps, so I knew what are the places that are near my hotel and stuff like that. Again, also very importantly, you need to have a really great data plan that allows you to have no lag in general, or very less lag, so that you're not stuck there, or it's not buffering on you, or you don't see the circle of doom as and when it goes. That's very important. And do research on what are the cheaper data options that work out for you. Yeah, that's pretty much on the research. So everything ties into research. So moment you book your ticket, know what are the days you're gonna fly out or catch a train, or leave the city to another or come back, and then know your limitations in time. For example, if you only have 6 hours in a certain city, you can only cover 6 hours worth of stuff. Again, this seems like a no-brainer, but there's a lot of things you can cover in 6 hours in a particular city. For example, New York, where I was there for a day, I came in the morning at 6 from the airport, from JFK. My hotel was right in Times Square, which was very convenient. I went there, and then immediately Times Square, you're going to see Times Square. There's a lot of things that are near Times Square, which is if you walk further north, it's Central Park. And then I just checked Central Park out for a bit, took a lot of pictures, and then took the subway and to what are the stuff that I wanted to see. Again, I wanted to see Empire State, I wanted to see World Trade Center. So again, New York works differently. You can separate uptown and downtown Manhattan. So I covered downtown first. I did World Trade Center. I did Wall Street. I took lots of pictures here and there, the streets, it's very picturesque. So, pretty much anywhere you go, you can take pictures. So again, I looked at the map. I saw the place I was at where the blue dot is represented, and you just see what are the places you can see close by, and you just go in. And if you have to pay something, if that's something that interests you, go ahead, go and pay the fee, and just see it and then come back. After that, I went to Statue of Liberty, and Statue of Liberty took a while, but it was something that I really wanted to see. Again, there's a free option as well if you take the Staten Island ferry, so you can see the Statue of Liberty from far off, but not right there. So yeah, so again, it falls into research. So the more you research about a place, the more options you're gonna find, which ones are free, which ones work for you, which ones are more expensive, stuff like that. For me, I wanted to really maximize my experience, so I really saw literally everything. And then from Statue of Liberty, after I came back, I went to Brooklyn Bridge the same day. I walked all the way to Brooklyn Bridge, to and fro, came back, and then I was really tired. And then my hotel room was ready. So again, because I came in the morning, they said, "Oh, you need to wait till the evening to check in, and your room is not gonna be ready till then." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna just go head out and look at all these places." So after that, I went to Empire State, Central Park again in the night. Then I went to Union Station. Grand Central Station. Union Station is somewhere else. Yeah, so that's how it's gonna be. So again, these options really work out if you're in a metropolitan city. For example, New York is a very busy city. There's a lot of activities going here and around. The public transportation is great, so I would recommend anybody who's going to New York or any metropolitan city to use public transport. That is the number one tip, because it's a lot cheaper than Uber or whatever thing you're gonna use or plan to use. It's I know a lot of friends who use Uber. It's really convenient. I don't get lost. I know the address to this place, or the Uber guy knows where to go, and that. But as and when you're going to different cities and stuff, the costs add up, and different destinations, the costs really add up at the end. So again, if money is a restriction, use public transport. They're a lot cheaper. They're a lot better. They usually have deals, like day passes are $5-6, and you can really fulfill the experience out of the city. You can and they're really fast. People think public transports are very slow and stuff like that. Again, it depends on a lot on the city. If you're going to a metropolitan city like New York, San Francisco, Paris, Brussels, which is in Belgium, the trains are really fast, and public transportation is the number one thing you need to go. And also get familiar with what are the tracks, what are the trains, which way. Again, this all has to do with knowing how to read a map, paper map, or Google Map, or Apple Map. I would prefer Apple Map because the destinations are clearly marked, the landmarks are clearly marked, the exits are clearly marked there. So yeah, whatever you're comfortable with, knowing what to do with it is very important. The last tip is be comfortable when whatever clothes you're traveling, shoes and everything. Don't exert yourself too much at the same time. These tips really work out for people who are traveling solo and not with someone. I mean, even if you are traveling with someone, it's you should be really comfortable with them, and they should really understand that you plan to see a lot of things in a very short time, and try to maximize the experience. For me, I really don't travel to a city twice, so I really pack a lot in a day. I'm gonna have another video as to what I did, like an itinerary sort of a thing, so you get a clear idea as to how crazy my plan was. But pretty much, if you're traveling solo, just don't be afraid. And yeah, so the first step pretty much is like the underlying thing. Research your options, know your limitations, either it's in terms of time or money or both. For me, it was both, because I didn't want to overspend on a certain trip, because it was like the trip of my dreams or something. I didn't want to, I knew what my limitations were, what I wanted to spend more on, what I wanted to spend less on. So for example, hotel hostel is something that I really want to spend less, because I'll be out more and I'll be traveling more to see lots of stuff than stay at your hotel, sleep and stuff. Although that is important, but that's, it's, you're going for a very short time, and you shouldn't like be like, oh, I really need this hotel, I really need to uh, you know sleep like for 8 hours and stuff like that. I mean, obviously sleep is important, but when you go back, it's you take away the experiences, you take away what you saw, what you liked, the pictures and stuff, like those speak more to you than you staying in the hotel. So yeah, research all that. And last but not least, don't be afraid. I'm going to be posting more videos on my Europe trip, on trips in general, my itinerary, how to really maximize. This is just like a normal video where I'm just explaining stuff, so that if it makes sense, it works out for you. Do comment down below what parts you want me to redo or explain further, and I'll be more than happy to do that. That is all, y'all. Do hit subscribe, like this video if it was helpful. Dislike it if you thought I went too fast, just like how I travel. Do let me know. And that is it. Bye.